so my name is Patricia Gilligan. I live at number 334 to 36 Henry Street, Leichhardt, in the city of Sydney, in the country of Australia. It's very late of a night. I'm making this recording. And I'm going to do a research on a music review video or music review videos, depending on what one's come up, because I'm letting the artificial intelligent computer system decide my mind for me. And in many ways you may as well, because whether you believe it or not, as they say, believe it or not, or whether you want it or not, this is the reality of the Earth world, because it's an Earth matrix. And okay, so we'll just do that there. Do usual show the demigods, I suppose. You know what I mean? May as well show the demigods, because they are examples of idealized versions of what you think are natural born humans, but actually that's not usually the case. Not that there is much that is naturally born now anyway, because if you think about it, there never has been a lot natural in the that's a bit dark. There never has been very much natural or natural conception, shall we say, in the Earth. In the Earth for a long time anyway, because most human beings are brought into the world with assistance from medical, technical, artificial means. And that probably has become a necessary thing, or some people might say a necessary evil, but of course it is, but at the same time it's a necessary procedure because of original intervention, I would say. So, like, in other words, when the original man-woman brought natural life, naturally and spiritually into the world, that just simply means without any artificial intervention, and also probably in a very life is brought into the world not only now in pain, but also it creates pain, and we live in a matrix which is designed to create that, so that the matrix can be powered by human pain. That probably sounds depressive, and that is also true because it's also a depressive matrix from a human standpoint, because the others and the gods of earth, that simply means those that control earth, because a god is your power, your one that creates, one that has power over everything. So it's just a word, but it's not a human god, but the gods of earth, the demigods that make up your internet, computer and world stage players. In other words, anyone that is seen or heard in any capacity is a demigod of earth. Some are more popular, some have larger audiences than others, but any being that is consuming human energy, human attention, human admiration, or human that, in other words, any being that is taking attention from a real human being, and even is admired by, as they say, their own kind. In other words, divine demigod androgyne beings are supported and are followed by those of that same denomination or the same artificial human breed. And the reason we say artificial is only because the conception is not natural or spiritual, and also not of creation that is outside of the earth matrix. I think that's how I would say it, but I could be not putting it well. The demigods and the truth tellers and the informants of the matrix will put these things better, but they're like telling on themselves or projecting their own person as though it's outside of themselves, whereas it's really themselves. Not always, of course. The rest of the time they are projecting what they receive from the transhuman connection from the real humans. So it just depends on what capacity they're employed, shall we say, or what their actual purpose is for the matrix and for the God entity and the gods of earth that they serve. I don't think I explained that very well, but it depends on what capacity they're in, what part of the internet they're trying to garner the audience from, shall we say. So that means like if they're into telling you about the psychology of either themselves or even real human beings. But they will reverse the roles round usually, because this is a reverse world. So you have android androgynes, presenting themselves as real human beings, and real human beings often will not be heard at all. Usually, I wouldn't think. They would have to be remarkably clever and lucky, etc. And that doesn't happen on the internet, because it's a computer program, so it's all controlled, and they try to control the whole thing, because that's why it's a communication. But it's like every bit of information in an Earth matrix. The matrix controls the information. The God entity, the artificial intelligent computer virus that controls Earth, is, it's designed for controlling the human mind. And because that's what the Earth matrix really is, it's not human beings' natural habitat, shall we say. And that's also why there's only a small human population in it, because the human beings are separated from their own kind, and they're put into an artificial world, so that these beings can take your energy, what it is to be human from you, so that they are incorporating that into themselves, so that they can survive and thrive, as they say, in their chosen artificial reality. That's why we have the transhuman connection now. And the transhuman connection is just where the human beings are literally connected to the computer system and to the androgyne beings. And they interpret the human thoughts as their own, so that they can try to take on the human spirit, so that they, like I say, survive and are the dominant players in the Earth matrix, or just in the Earth. If you are under the illusion that it's a natural Earth, which is of course the mind control illusion that has been placed on you, so that you are, conditioned to follow certain agendas, certain programs, in other words, or just ideas that they want you to act on and believe in and to focus your energy and time on, even though these programs and agendas and ideas and even just beliefs about the natural Earth are not the reality, because they can't be, because it's an Earth matrix. The main deception is that, in a way, that we live in a natural, random world, and that everyone is human, or everyone is not of a controlling androgyne being nature, because they impersonate the real human beings. Because of their transhuman connection, they're literally feeling, seeing and experiencing your human existence as their own, so that they can be a perfect human imitation. And therefore, once again, Lucifer and its demigods and most of the beings that populate the earth then keep control of the earth matrix, and they keep also control of my mind. And you know, if you become awake or aware of this, as they call it, the awakening, which was supposed to happen to where all humans were awakened at the same time, but of course this is not the case. And then if you do awaken, they will make sure that you're isolated and segregated from your own other humans, so that there's no collaborative human awareness taking place, because it's no good me being awake on my own when I'm isolated, segregated and surrounded by, you know, an army force of beings that are about keeping you not just in the dark, but if you have come out of the dark or just accidentally realized the reality in some way, then they will bring on their anti-life, anti-army against you. And that just simply means that they will use their numbers, collaborative, programmed systems around you to control and keep your mind focused on them and their matrix, so that you not only can't, as they say, raise the frequency and vibration, because everything's frequency and vibration is energy, as science tells us, because they tell you a lot of truth. It's just that you don't think that it matters in your life. Because if I was told, you know, even 10 years ago that everything was frequency, vibration and energy, I would have thought, so what? I wouldn't have thought that my emotions and my feelings as a single human being in amongst the masses would have any impact on that, or that it was even relevant to that. You know, because I probably wouldn't even think about it at all anyway, if I was perfectly frank about it. But when you become a what they call a target of this matrix, that's where the forces around you and the beings around you recognize that you or assume that you've seen something about this artificial reality before it's like fully accepted, you see, before it's fully embraced by everyone, and everyone is a transhuman, literally a transhuman cyborg type of human being, because it has to be universally accepted and embraced by all. And at this stage of the game, although it is actually a reality and it's taken place, it isn't like universally accepted. It's a secret, which is like the demigods are always going, shush, keep the secret that we're part of the matrix and that we're really a different species, a different kind of human, you know. And demigods are just the well-known or more successful androgyne duality beings, okay? But most of the human population is not a natural man-woman human being, or not what you'd call a spiritual human being. Most are of the earth and of the matrix, okay? I think that I explained this right, but at the same time, it's gonna be beyond your comprehension if you don't think that you live in a totally controlled technical reality. If you believe that you live in a random natural earth, even though you know there are powers that be and you know that there are lots of control mechanisms in place in society and wherever you are in the world, you still think that it's a natural earth. And that's because you don't see it as a virtual reality world where you're literally blinded, or as they use that word now, blindsided by, you've got blinkers on to that part of the reality. Some people, and many even more than myself, may fully understand how blindsided other people are and the reality of this video game essentially deceptive virtual reality world, because it's not and it's virtual reality in the sense that human beings are meant to, I think, create their own reality, and yet, you know, you're not capable of doing that because Lucifer surrounds you with this virtual reality world, so that you're always even if you're, you know, you think you're aware of it like myself, you will still be, as I am, totally controlled by it. But maybe there are some more advanced than myself, or more, or that have set their life up better and maybe been aware of it for longer and have took to the hills, as they say, or something like that, but are still able to, you know, make a, you know, still able to keep going in the earth, because really it is about them eliminating us, or human beings, one by one, slowly and gradually, to where the population is only a controlled population, or those that believe in and support not just the demigods, but the actual technical matrix. But these beings, I think, are actually consuming the human energy for their own survival. So while they take your energy as their own, it's a reverse world, and it's also a trade world. In other words, it's a world where they're taking from the real human beings what's really human and what's their spirit, or what's their life really. They're taking your life from you and taking it for their own. And they project it out as their own too, because they imitate being what they're assimilating and taking from the human being. You know, so they take my knowledge, or your knowledge if you're a human being, or your human traits, your human characteristics, anything that they think is interesting or different to them, or even just characteristics that they think will seduce the vast population, you know, the masses, in other words. And when I just said that, it's like, it just occurred to me in this second that it's, you know, it is, I think, you have different species, different kinds of beings in human form, but you also have different kinds of humans too. In other words, humans that have humanity in them, they're a human being, but they still might be, I think that it's like some human beings are very human and others are more normal, which is um, like more balanced. But the more human beings would be more human and more connected to that which is outside of the matrix, you see, or more that. But in the matrix, it's better if you're more of a normal human being, because that will give you a better chance of surviving. Whereas the more human you are, they will come against you, and you are a fish out of water, like you're a fish out of water. You're not in the right environment for too much human emotion, because it will be consumed by the matrix and its beings, and they will take that from you. And for different types of humans, these things are necessary. In other words, whatever type of human you are, or whatever it is you need, whatever it is you desire and want, and what keeps you happy or comfortable, if they take that from you, you will be dead, you see. So that's the thing. So it's really, but the actual others, the artificial intelligence survival machine beings, they are purely here to, to take the human down into their matrix technical world. And that means the human will not be human. And so you'll be like these dead dark beings, because they're dead to humanity, really. They're only using the human spirit and the humanness for their necessary avoidance of extinction. So, and that's, and I think this also creates problems too, because they're trying to partake of something that is artificial for them, just as the human beings are in their artificial matrix. Human beings are meant to consume things that are naturally made things to consume. And that even means, as you know, even what you put into your body even. It's better if it's made from the ground, or not a total artificial or totally chemical laboratory created substance. These things are okay for the androgyne beings, but for the natural human beings, it does cause some issues, I would imagine. But you get so conditioned to it, and also you don't notice the difference in taste even. You wouldn't probably realise what's good for you or not. Of course, we're now in this fake natural earth world where everything is about going back to nature. That's just to confuse and deceive the human beings into thinking that everything's, normal and natural, which it isn't. Because, like I've said before, the main line of defence in keeping this matrix going is to always seduce the humans with what they would want to hear and what they would naturally believe themselves if they become aware of something. In other words, if they receive information that perhaps things are not quite as natural and as normal as what they think. But that's just part of trying to get you to believe that you can be a natural human being but still be literally swimming in a fish tank that has an artificial internet going through it. In other words, through the air, through the water, through everything. That's not even a deception, but it is because you don't consciously say that one doesn't really fit the other. But if you believe in a transhuman connection, a transhuman reality, and a machine combined with human mind reality, and machine combined with the human body reality, that type of thing, and that's what the aim is, so that way the human being stays trapped and serves this technical matrix that is populated by the demigods of Lucifer, that you think are real people. And they are real, but they're not real natural humans, that's all. And like I say, that depends on your perspective and viewpoint on these things, because some people, if like myself and most humans, you are very limited and very suppressed, and most of your brain and your mind is closed off from you, and you have no idea of your past or how this all happened, why it's been closed off, why you are what they call literally brainwashed from day one. That means conditioned by the environment around you, and you don't realise that it's an artificial environment and that it's a controlled environment and that everything around you is set up and staged for you to control you, because the powers that be, need the human energy, and they have I think a need and a preference for negative human energy, and that simply means where you're not happy. High frequency, high vibration, happy human energy is in opposition to their low vibration, low frequency, technical energy. So you're on a different wavelength, as they say. But I don't fully understand all the higher dimensions or the lower dimensions or the earth dimensions or the frequencies and vibrations. But I'm just saying it anyway. So take it or leave it, because I don't comprehend it fully myself, because I'm a limited, suppressed, not particularly good vibrational human being because of the conditions and the mind control around me. And this is probably true of most human beings. Some are very much in the dark too. So when you are not even aware of this situation at all, you will accept a depressive state as a normal state. You may even not realise that it's depressive, because until you really hit rock bottom, you might think that to be mildly depressed is normal. In fact, if you're getting by and you might experience some happy moments, you would probably just assume that this earth is not designed that way. And you'd be quite right in thinking that, because it isn't designed that way at all. It's not designed that way because it is designed. It is literally designed to keep you that way. That places, I know, importance on the human being, individual human beings anyway. But that's also because the human population is now much smaller than what you think it is. If you think that the earth is overpopulated by human beings, that's also the deception, because they are in human form, but all I'm trying to say is there is a difference, as we know, a difference between the mind of a psychopath and a normal human being. So if you just want to put it at that psychological level, forgetting the technical differences in the body and the that it is a different natured being. Even the psychopath does have a different brain, we're actually told. But if you just put it in that line of thinking, that 3/4 of the world's population or more is a psychopath, and the rest are normal human beings, and also some human beings that are extremely what they would call very sensitive and very human, very fragile in their sensitivity to life, which is a disadvantage in the Earth Matrix, as I've pointed out. In a natural, free environment, you would be okay, but not in an artificial matrix, and not in this deceptive, combined, you could say almost it's an alien world for a human being, because it is really populated by artificial intelligent machine beings at certain levels and in certain you could almost say, that in the situations where there's conflict, then you have totally artificially intelligent machine beings being the force of the earth. In other words, they will be the army of the earth. And they make the best army, because army operatives, or those that have to take things by force or be the dominant, have to dominate and have to take control. In other words, that they're directed by their officers or by the demigods to perform, takeover situations, control situations. They're like your authorities and your armies of earth in different places everywhere. Most people see these forces and authorities as necessary safety measures to protect the civilian, innocent humans. But that should be the case, but because it really is a matrix, everything has to be designed to work against you, because the powers that be, the gods of earth, have to have negative human energy. So how is that going to mean that, you might not die, but you will not thrive as a human being. You might even survive for longer than what they might even anticipate, but it all depends on what they're getting out of you, and how they're using you to control the remaining humanity and to keep control of the matrix. It's an extremely complicated, deceptive game. When you watch the internet and the computer system and the power player platforms and the pretend human beings that speak on it, every single thing that comes on there is largely designed to get your attention and to make you either believe something that isn't so, or often even just to make sure that you are connected to them. So they've got that transhuman connection going. And, so it's like if you're listening to myself right now, I want you to be transhumanly connected and believing and trusting in what I say. And therefore, I'm getting your attention and your energy. This is like your positive admiration. That's like more like worship. So therefore, they're keeping control. I'm controlling you, in other words. If you believe me and if you trust me and if you're giving me your energy and your attention. But most human beings will be ultimately controlled by their need for your depressed, negative energy, or simply by your emotional pain or any they can create emotional pain in you by using your body against you, using your beliefs against you, using your humanity against you, using everything that's human about you against you, impersonating it, imitating it, projecting it out as their own, taking from and then eliminating the real human population. Or even, in some cases, probably diverting normal human beings along a path of their human self-destruction, really, because even though you could be a real normal human being, if you go into this